Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into a story that is going to completely reframe how you think about the timeline of animal rights. We're taking a deep dive into a really powerful 1,400-year-old historical account that just perfectly encapsulates the roots of compassion and empathy. It's a story all about listening to those who don't have a voice, and honestly, it is absolutely fascinating.
Now, to really grasp the weight of this event, we've got to vividly set the scene. Just imagine the blistering heat of the Arabian desert, sand, silence, and a totally scorching sun. Prophet Muhammad and his companions were traveling through this incredibly harsh environment. The air was thick and hot. The vast desert was just intensely quiet, and there was nothing but endless, radiating sand in literally every direction. And out of that heavy, stifling silence, a profound situation arises. How do you hear a complaint from someone who cannot speak? It's a really fascinating question, right? Keep this central mystery in the back of your mind as we move forward, and watch how this historical moment actually unfolds.
Section 1. A Cry in the Desert. The sudden disruption. So, you know that absolute heavy silence of the desert journey we just talked about? Well, it was completely shattered. A desperate, loud cry cut right through the hot desert air, instantly stopping everyone in their tracks. Tears, panic, a voiceless creature begging for help. The companions saw a camel crying out loudly. And we're not just talking about it making noise here. Actual tears were streaming down its face. The source material notes that the animal was incredibly restless, visibly terrified, and acting exactly as though it was desperately pleading for someone, anyone, to rescue it. The folks standing there were completely stunned by this visceral sight. Moving to Section 2, the Prophet's gentle touch. Empathy in action. While the crowd was basically frozen in shock, the reaction of the Prophet was entirely different. He didn't hesitate or just stand back to watch the spectacle. Instead, Prophet Muhammad immediately walked straight toward the distressed, frantic animal, approaching it with absolute calm and deep empathy. His actions were incredibly simple. Step 1, approach the distressed creature. Step 2, place a comforting hand on its neck. He walked right up close to the panicked camel and gently, lovingly placed his hand on its neck. It was such a simple physical gesture, but man, it completely shifted the chaotic energy of the entire moment. As a direct result, a sudden profound calm washes over the restless creature, returning the desert to silence. The camel that was crying so loudly and visibly panicking just seconds ago suddenly found its support. It completely relaxed. The frantic, heartbreaking scene came to an immediate halt, and the desert went quiet again, save for the wind. The weeping animal finally felt secure. But obviously, the story doesn't end with just calming the animal. The root cause had to be addressed. Section 3. The mute animal's complaint, confronting the injustice. Prophet Muhammad turned to the crowd with authority and asked a very direct question. Who is the owner of this camel? From among the people, a young man stepped forward and said, "O Messenger of Allah, this is my camel."
Prophet Muhammad looked right at the young owner and delivered these monumental words. "Do you not fear Allah? This mute animal is complaining." Think about that for a second. He was incredibly translating the silent pain of this camel for the entire crowd to hear. The deep pain that everyday humans couldn't quite understand, the Prophet recognized and voiced.
The camel's translated grievances were crystal clear, being starved and being burdened far beyond its physical capacity. The Prophet publicly exposed the immense cruelty of what was happening here, keeping this poor creature painfully hungry while simultaneously crushing it under excessive loads and just completely overworking it. Upon hearing this, the young owner had a profound realization. Compassion extends far beyond humanity. His face completely fell. Tears welled up in his own eyes. In that instant, a heavy realization washed over him regarding the massive extent of his cruelty toward a voiceless being. He understood then that the Prophet wasn't just a mercy for humans, but for the animals as well. This resulted in a promise of justice, allowing the camel to stand in total peace. The young owner, deeply moved, immediately promised to change his ways and treat his camel well. And that camel, which just minutes prior was weeping in absolute agony, now stood there completely tranquil. It was exactly as if the animal knew for sure that it had been heard and that justice had finally been served. Which brings us to Section 4, Mercy for All Worlds, the Enduring Legacy. Because you see, this isn't just a touching historical anecdote about a man and a camel.
It's a foundational educational lesson that applies directly to our modern global ethics. Look at the fascinating historical comparison here. Modern animal rights today versus Islamic teachings on animal cruelty from 1400 years ago. Today, the world constantly talks about modern animal rights, and rightly so. But this brilliantly illustrates how these exact conversations, advocating against cruelty and demanding ethical treatment for animals, were actually established and put into practice over 14 centuries ago.
This story yields timeless rules of compassion. Never keep an animal hungry. Do not inflict cruelty or overwork them. Actively understand and alleviate their pain. These weren't just passing suggestions, They were laid out as absolute ethical principles for exactly how humans must interact with the creatures around them. The crucial point of this entire story is beautifully summarized by the concept of Rahmat al-Alamin, mercy for the whole universe. It is a compassion that inherently includes all living beings, not just humans. The Prophet's profound empathy for a crying mute camel proved that his mercy was quite literally meant for all of creation. He who understands the pain of animals is a mercy to all of humanity. So I'll leave you with this. If we truly understood the pain of the voiceless, how would it change our world? Take a moment to really think about that. If a 1400-year-old lesson could bring peace and justice to one crying camel in the middle of a vast desert, imagine what applying that same level of active listening compassion could do for our modern lives today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.